That's what is happening right now with what we call the AI as a technology. It's much more than a technology. It is a mindset transformation and it's foundational. If you look at a disruptor, the disruptor is not a disruption. The disruption is you. In other words, humans create a disruption. The disruptor, it's a device or it's a technology that doesn't. So the phone here doesn't do anything. Me on the phone is the disruption. The human on the phone. So me doing this, that's the disruption. The product itself or the technology itself is never the disruption. It's a disruptor. So those are two different terms, right? Disruptor, disruption. So the disruptor is the pebble we throw in a lake, and the waves that form are the disruptions. The waves are the human beings or society in general.
In February, you were showing me the evolution of behavior which different technologies have then designed for. Can you tell me a little bit more about this? The rings you were talking about in terms of the development.
So imagine this pebble that drops in a very still lake. And what happens? You have a couple of concentric rings forming, right? Now imagine that we have two types of disruptors. We have the pebble, which is in the center. So that's a technology. And we have an outside-in disruptors, which will be an earthquake, which moves the lake from the outside. So then you have waves, and the thing comes from the outside. So we have two pressures. Inside out, outside in. COVID was outside in, as an example. Now, digital media was inside out. It starts and then it starts affecting a variety of things. So how does it spread? You create a tool. The tool needs a shell. In other words, a thing to be contained in. So think of the housing over the phone as the shell. And think of what's inside the phone as the tool. And then we have tools, shells. We have networks, because this needs to communicate to other things. And then you have settlements. Now, a city is a settlement. You cannot get to a city without a network, which is a road. Facebook is a settlement. Your company is a settlement because it contains multiple shells, multiple tools, and so on, and depends on networks. So when a technology or disruptor shows up, it shows up as a tool, and then it disrupts shells, networks, settlements. So that's how it spreads. And some of these things are hybrids, and this is a perfect hybrid, the cell phone. The cell phone is a hybrid because it depends on it creates settlements, but it depends on networks, on the tools, and on the shells, just to be able to have a taxonomy and categorize them into groupings of things. And that categorization allows me to understand the rate to how fast will this thing maximize? How fast will this thing create? Now, if I'm wrong by a couple of years. If you read my book, The Imagination Challenge in 2006, it kind of predicted everything that happened today, but a bit earlier than I thought. But if you are able to connect the dots, and that's what these things are, they are dots on a map, and you connect them. If you are able to connect the dots, you kind of see with some accuracy what might happen. Why? Because we know human behavior. And everything starts with behavior. Everything starts with what do humans really want? Why did we create all this technology? And that's what leaders miss in organizations. They don't understand that the how changes the what. For example, shopping online changes what we shop for. Because now we shop for things we didn't shop before. And then you realize, okay, so I'm impacting society. I'm impacting culture. I'm impacting more than the economic system. I'm impacting people at the level of their philosophy of life. Whoa. So the role of an organization is to understand its place in the culture of the moment, not in the economic system. Because Facebook is a culture. Of course, it makes money and it's part of the economic system, but it's a culture. So it affects people at the level of the culture, day-to-day life. So I was saying earlier, why do we invent technology? We invent technology to pass on to tools and machines all the things that take effort from us. So we are seeking something called the lowest energy state. I want to seek a level in which I do as little as possible, and I need to subcontract this effort to some other equipment, machines. So we invent machines, we put gears on the machines, then we invent motors, then we put motors on the geared things, and then all of a sudden, instead of us moving the gears, the motor moves the gears, and we do almost nothing or supervise the gears and the machines, right? So that creates layers and layers of society which are organized for the purpose of gearing machines, creating motors, supervising people doing all of these things, creating buildings, which are factories, institutions, and so forth. And all these layers create society, post-industrialization. Then we have the 9 to 5, then we have weekends, then we introduce all sorts of other things. We introduce consumption time, leisure time, and so forth. And then artificial intelligence shows up. So artificial intelligence shows up, and it starts to take over all the things that people used to do, the gears. And the people all of a sudden reach a moment in which they have to wonder, where is my identity now if I'm not supervising the motor and the gears and the building? Because now AI is doing it. So what people have forgot in the course of this periods of time is how to define themselves outside a job title. So how do you define yourself outside your job, outside your degree, outside your gender, outside your religion? Like, define yourself, define the inner self. So that's what is happening right now with what we call the AI as a technology. It's much more than a technology. It is a mindset transformation, and it's foundational. It goes to the foundation of society, which means it needs to redefine everything. And that's where we need a lot of courage, and we need essentially a new authorship of reality, like people that are able to embrace the idea that I cannot write the story of the future from the perspective of the past.
So when AI is reframing what it means to be us as humans and are perhaps challenging our self and our definition of who we are as individuals, where does that lead us? Where do you think that's going to take us?
We need to redesign ourselves. So this is the invitation. The invitation is to redesign ourselves. So redesigning ourselves means that we'll have more time to do what only humans can do. And what is that? Write poetry, contemplate poetry, contemplate art, contemplate music, become supportive of other people. In essence, what this looks like is called self-transcendence, transcending the self which you created for society and becoming much more for others. And in that moment, you say, well, this is utopia. No, Abraham Maslow talked about this in something called Theory Z, in which he talked about transcending self, which is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is when you start becoming part of others. In other words, you are not you anymore without the others understanding who you are. And that means sharing, that means creating, that means discovering, that means having emotional intelligence. So if you look at what is required to transcend, is exactly this kind of ability to understand, how do I exist in the company of other people and what can I bring to them? So not only to achieve, not to compete, but to actually give. And that's very hard for people to understand as being a precondition connected to the realization of who they are, because they never define themselves like that, right? It's not about becoming more productive. It's about becoming more part of other people's story in the end.